Welcome back to part 2 of the report from the round 4 game 2 of the World Cup in Baku. I finished my previous video with this position from the game Wesley saw against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. So I was saying that Vachier's technique from here was almost flawless. However, he actually got into this position, so Wesley managed to trade off some more pawns, and in this position he actually played g5. After which, because of this pawn structure, because of h5, and there were two pawns of blacks that white was unable to trade, because of that, So lost the game and the match. So he's going home in the top 16 and allows Maxime Vachier-Lagrave to go into the next round. In this position, many people were suggesting rook a6. And why is this move so great? I mean, it looks like you're just giving away this pawn. Well, the thing is that here black has to be careful because there are a bunch of perpetual checks ideas going on. So if you're taking with the knight, now there's rook a7 check, king f6, rook a6 check, and the king, I mean, you cannot stay there because there will be perpetual, so eventually you have to give away these pawns. And if you come to e5, I take knight e4 check. This is the best line for black. I cannot play king f3, of course, because there's just checkmate. And if I play king h3, this position, it seems that black's best chance to win is to play rook e2, and after capture to take in e3. This position should be winning for black, but it's not 100% clear because he does have some mating threats, but I'm also going with the pawns towards promotion. So this was probably the best chance that Wesley had in this position. After g5, h5, because of that pawn structure, he ended up losing. They basically traded rooks, and in this position it looks like black has no way to progress, maybe, because if you go with the king towards c4, I can just push maybe f5. So that is the reason why Maxime Vachier-Lagrave improved the position of his knight first. So this is what he did. He brought his knight to d6 to make sure the knight is controlling the f5 square for when you're gonna push. I can capture or not, maybe play knight e8, okay? Keep that in mind. And so white has really no moves. He cannot just push e5. Knight f5 is just blocking everything, and then my king is going to come capture a pawn. So king e3, king c4, and now after f5, this is white's only chance. King f3 just allows black's king's penetration and winning all of these pawns. So f5, knight e8, he took in g6. What to do? There's no way. And now knight g7, really a good move, blockading those pawns. And as you can see, the black knight is actually controlling this square, so white's king is not going to be able to advance. After e5, king d5, king f4, king d4. Anytime you push, you're going to I'm not taking immediately to give you the opportunity to have some chance here, but I'm playing king d5 because I can actually bring my king to e6, and this pawn is going to be caught by the knight. A couple more moves were played, and this position, so Wesley So resigned. A very bad day for him. He's out of the World Cup. Alrighty, let us go to the next game. The next game the next game was again like yesterday, quite simple and easy draw. Karyakin between Andreiki. They played a symmetrical structure, pawn structure from move 9, which is here. After d5, just the pawn structure is the same. It's really very hard for either one of the colors to try to fight for a win. The game ended in this position after bishop takes d7. White's last move was bishop takes d7. Karyakin offered a draw, and Andreikin accepted. So this is going to be interesting to watch tomorrow, their match, because both of them until now have seem to have been winning their tiebreakers and going into the next round. So let's make sure to stay put on this match. Going on to the next game between Elyanov and Yakovenko. Another mistakeless game. I can say both players played it quite safely. White had a small advantage of the bishop pair, but without space and weaknesses, it's quite hard to improve the position. So this is what happened in their game. We have seen this type of idea before. You're playing bishop before check to attract white to put the bishop in d2 because it's not the best position for it, and now bishop e7. So this game was just, for the moment, there's just developing moves. Rook d1, b6, bishop b7. Here, knight e5 is a nice. I've mentioned it to you in other videos. The knight, putting the knight in e5 in this pawn structures d4, d5, it's very common and very annoying for black. So here, black played knight h5, going for the bishop. In this game, Elyanov played bishop d2. Eventually, they got into this position, which is, the pawn structure is quite symmetrical, again, as in other games. It's really very hard for white to find any way to improve, and eventually they in this position, as you can see, some moves later, it's still the same position. Not much has been improved. Eventually, white played an a4, but black didn't let him create any weakness with a5. He just played a5 himself, and now b4 is almost impossible to be played by white, and the position is closed. Eventually, they played another 30-some moves, and the position finished in a draw right here. So another match that we should be following tomorrow between Elyanov and Yakovenko. Stay tuned for that one. Let's go on to the next game, which was a very interesting game. Like yesterday, these Chinese players, Wei Yi and Ding Liren, had a really tough match. The computer was going from plus on minus to minus on plus. So white black, everything was crazy. Even until the last moment of the game, the position, we didn't know whether Ding Liren was going to go to the next round or Wei Yi is going to win. And eventually Wei Yi was able to transform his material advantage, and win the game. So tomorrow we're going to see them playing once again. So this was the variation that was played. The Ruy Lopez, again, it's very popular among the players these days. In this position, Ding Liren didn't go for the main line, which is bishop g4. He played h6 here, h3, rook e8, and again, not going for the most played line, which is knight d5 here, but he played bishop d2, a more this time Wei Yi played bishop d2, a more quiet move. Eventually, the position, they arrived in this position where it seems that white is a little bit better because he has the a file, and he's going to be able to break through the position at some point if he wants with d4 or c4. In the same time, he's controlling d5, not allowing black to push it. And black's knights have been quite well restricted by white's pawns. This g3 pawn is restricting the knight in g6, and this knight in e6. So what would be the most natural move to be played here by white? Of course, rook a7. I mean, you have the file. It's natural that you want to activate your rook. I was surprised that Wei did not play that. He went for d4. And the thing is that you have this d4, but you want to be careful when you're playing it, because black's bishop in f8 is a bad bishop. If you start opening up the position, you won't notice a big advantage. Maybe you'll have a little bit more center, but that bishop might start playing. So d4 a little bit dubious here. Later on, they of course these pawns got traded, and Ding Liren plays c5, and eventually they got into this position, which is quite alright for black if he plays the correct move. And it's crazy to notice the difference. Queen c8 or queen c7, which one to go for? It's not clear. Queen c7 would have been better, but let me go through a couple of moves to see why that is. Because now after knight e3, g6, bishop c3, bishop takes e5, rook takes e5. Now there's queen takes d3. You see that now I'm defending e4 and I'm attacking b5, and basically I just won a pawn. So from here Vei is definitely better, but instead of queen c8, Ding Liren had to play queen c7, and the difference is that now after knight e3 I actually can go back on the e file, and against any bishop c3 stuff I can just move my knight to c4, and then this e4 pawn is going to be attacked and captured, so black is not going to lose any material. Okay, so after winning this pawn here, Vei didn't play the best continuations, and eventually they got into this position, and Ding Liren finds some counter-attacking ideas. Oh, okay, it's true, he has a pawn down, but his pieces are active, and now he wants to play against white's king. So he found this g5, queen takes g5, rook f3, and now it seems that black has some chances here, some drawing chances, and now rook takes d6, h4, after which it is not clear whether white can still win this. Most likely this position should be a draw. It's a rook endgame, and it's really hard for white to change the result of the game. And here after king e8, coming with the king to block that pawn, and then with this one getting that one. In the same time, as you can see, the rook is cutting white's king. It doesn't let it to come help the promotion of his f-pawn. So this is definitely a very natural way of holding the endgame for black. Unfortunately, Ding Liren played rook c8, which is a big blunder, after which white is simply winning. And here, after rook b3, blocking that pawn, now the king comes towards d5, c6, helping the pawn towards promotion. Vei messed up here. He played king d5 directly, giving black counterplay, which Ding Liren took. That's why I was saying that this game was crazy. We didn't know what was going to happen. So b3, d7, b2, okay, so queen, but here it is amazing, but there's no way for white to win the rook. There's no way. It's crazy. If black just knows on which squares to go with the king, then it would be a draw, because white finds no way of moving the queen and being able to give a check rook. At least the computers don't find it, so it's not only me, it's the computers who talk as well. Here it seems that after king f4, white has no way of moving the queen, finding some patterns to draw the game. So unfortunately he didn't find it. He played king h4, and now a beautiful continuation by white. Let's see how he won this rook. A couple of checks, and now goodbye. This rook in b8 is going to be lost, because you have nowhere where to go with the king. Now queen f5, and here Ding Liren resigned. After king g2, there's just queen g4 check, and and then I'm going to give you another check, and then another one, and then your rook is going to be lost. So nice game by Vei. It's a pity that Ding Liren was not able to make a draw and go into the next round, so we'll have to check for that tomorrow. Okay guys, so that was it for today, for all the games. Unfortunately, all the players who are already into the next round, Svidler, Nakamura, Mamedyanov, and Vacher, all of them have a free day. Unfortunately, all of them are playing against one of these people who will have to play tiebreakers tomorrow. So nothing is clear. We have no idea who's gonna play whom. So although they have a free day, they still have to wait for the matchups to start preparing. I hope you enjoyed my videos. Stay tuned for more tomorrow. Goodbye and take care.